Hello, Internet people and historians in the far future examining the ancient history of planet Earth. The truth is not Buddhist. I think this is a really important point to bear in mind when studying Buddhism, is that the truth is not Buddhist. One of the things that bugged me when I first started getting into religions and looking into the religion that was dominant in the area where I live, when I first started getting interested in religion, Christianity, was this notion that the truth would be Christian. That, for example, God, the creator of the entire universe, billions of galaxies, billions of stars, stretching on perhaps forever for all we know, sent one guy to one country who talked to a handful of people, and that was his one and final message to the universe, was this one guy who came to this one country and talked to like 50 people. That didn't make sense. Nor did it make sense that God should be a Christian God. This didn't make any sense to me because there's all sorts of other gods out there. I think when people make the same claims for Buddhism, they're going wrong. They're misunderstanding Buddhism. That the idea that Buddha had the absolute final word on truth, or that anyone of his many followers or the people that came after him, successors and people like that, had the monopoly on truth, is just stupid. And this is actually borne out in early Buddhism. There's a document in early Buddhism called the Kalama Sutra, and Buddha was traveling around India talking to these various people that he met in different places. And one of them was a group of people called the Kalamas. And the Kalamas asked Buddha this: "There are some monks and Brahmins, Venerable Sir, who visit Keshaputta," I guess that's where they lived. "They expound and explain only their own doctrines. The doctrines of others they despise, revile, and pull to pieces. Some other monks and Brahmins too, Venerable Sir, come to Kesaputta. They also expound and explain only their own doctrines. The doctrines of others they despise, revile, and pull to pieces. Venerable Sir, where there is doubt, there is uncertainty in us concerning them. Which of these reverend monks and Brahmins spoke the truth, and which falsehood?" Nice question. And the Buddha answered in part. The answer is quite long, so I'm just skipping to the good bit. "Come, Kalamas, do not go upon what has been acquired by repeated hearing, nor upon tradition, nor upon rumor, nor upon what is in Scripture, nor upon surmise, nor upon an axiom, nor upon specious reasoning, nor upon a bias toward a notion that has been pondered over, nor upon another's seeming ability, nor upon the consideration, 'This monk is our teacher.' Kalamas, when you know yourselves, these things are good, these things are not blamable, these things are praised by the wise, undertaken and observed, these things lead to benefit and happiness, enter on and abide in them." So whenever I cite an example from early Buddhism, or from Dogen, or from my own contemporary teachers, I'm citing things that make sense to me, that seem to be good words to explain a particular idea, but not because that person has some kind of special ability or some kind of miraculous something that makes them worthy of listening to. I can never go by the idea of divinely revealed scripture. The idea that there are scriptures out there in which the writer's hand was guided by God to put exactly the proper words to paper. That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make any sense to me, and I can't believe it. I have to reject it. But why do we accept certain things and not others? I accept them because I can see the sense of them. For example, the one I kind of hammer on a lot about using drugs being something that's not part of Buddhist practice. Now, you could go to cite old scriptures and say, okay, the Buddha said don't use drugs, and that's undisputed. Anybody who disputes that is ridiculous, so I wouldn't accept anybody who says that that's not true. Usually what they do is they try to twist it around, make it mean something else. But the reason I accept it is for the same reason that, for example, the Olympics don't allow athletes who are using steroids, right? You could do amazing Olympic feats using steroids, but it's a false thing. It doesn't. What we're interested in the Olympics is the ability of human beings, not the ability of drugs to alter human beings. And we also know that those drugs cause those human beings who use them a lot of problems. So you don't want to encourage people to use these drugs to have, special powers, right? Same thing with LSD and psilocybin and all the rest of them. They are additions to the mechanism, additions or maybe subtractions, and they get in the way of actual experience of what it is to be a human, an unaltered, unadulterated human being. And that's what the Buddhist tradition emphasizes as being important. So I can point to the Buddhist tradition as saying something that is empirically true. And I think this goes for anything. If there is a truth of the universe, then it is true whether Buddhists believe it's true or Buddhists don't believe it's true. And if Buddhists are wrong about something, then we have to say we're wrong. That's one of the things I like about Buddhism, is its ability to say it's wrong. This was what impressed me about the Heart Sutra. The Heart Sutra is a series of negations that are negating the basic fundamental philosophy of Buddhism. No suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path is a refutation of the Four Noble Truths, for example. So a religion, if we want to call it a religion, that is able to refute itself, I think is a religion, if you want to call it a religion, that is worth pursuing. So I totally reject this idea that the truth must be Buddhist. That's my message for today. A little bit short, but there you go. The information on how to donate through Patreon and PayPal is below. That's how I make my living. That's how I buy this Godzilla videotape for $2 at the Goodwill. So, you keep me going to Goodwill and buying $2 Godzilla videos. That's what you want to do. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. See you next time.